This afternoon. We appreciate you making time. A question that's burning on everyone's lips. Why did you decline your nomination?
Well, it was one of the things we could do to try and help to bring unity in the process after the nominations. From PGMs, there's been lots of engagement. So a number of things had to be done to try and create a mood that will make the conference more successful. We then engaged in the process, and we're then looking at the fact that intense mobilization was taking place, but it was important to avoid a situation where there are more and more fractures and tensions amongst comrades and delegates within the various structures. So, when we go out there, preach unity, not just unity about yourself being elected. If it means you can lead to, ensure unity, then you must be prepared to lead. If it means you must step back and withdraw to actually help to promote unity, you must be prepared to do that. That's exactly what we had to do. And we're hoping, therefore, that it's a contribution to try to bring more people together, create a spirit of more consensus seeking, to also create a spirit of those who are there. Let's reduce the numbers and try and make the delegates and the various leadership to help to structure something that will be a lot more uniting as we go into the conference. It's just a contribution that we wanted to make because we believe that unity in this case is quite important. It's also not about who gets elected. It's about what each one of us can contribute to building that unity. So that's what the context of the whole thing is.
Well, also in speaking about unity, the ANC top leadership, they have made a decision, first of all, and not to let the person that loses the presidency race take in or be able to contest for deputy president race. So sticking to traditions and also saying that the top six will only remain the top six. Now, in regards to unity, do you think that this was the best decision to take for the ANC at the end of the day?
Well, the decision by the ANC was that firstly, we could not agree on expanding the top six. On the one side, from a position of a Treasurer General, that makes perfect sense, although I think for other considerations you could have considered to expand it. The main issue, therefore, was as we go to the conference, we had taken an approach earlier, which was to say, break the election down so that you can have people reconsidering their views and also breaking this late kind of tradition. Personally, from my point of view, that was the best way to deal with it. But the NEC decided otherwise, so we have to go with that and accept it. However, personally, I believe that we need to still do that going into the future because we have to break the tradition of slates. It's got to be broken. We've got to get to a point where we don't encourage too much of bruising and hostile combative approach onto elections. We must encourage a situation where there's a lot more of consensus seeking, building of understanding amongst each other, and allowing people to focus on a leader by leader, as it were. So it's an issue that I think remains outstanding task for us, but we must also say that the conference is just one event. Once the conference results are out, it's important for all of us to embrace the leadership that will be elected, accept them, work with them, support them, and I'm prepared to do that personally. So the fact that I withdrew means that I will still work with the same leadership, and I've got no qualms about it. And secondly, it's also going to be important to say the leadership that comes out must lead us in the process of unifying the organization, taking into account the bruising that could have happened, and the tensions and all the issues that we have been trying to manage. After the conference, a lot more management is going to be needed. Bring back all the members and make sure that we put the conference behind us and then unify the ANC as we start looking at the programs that will come out of the policies that would have been adopted, going out and reaching out to communities in general and society to say the ANC has learned these lessons out of this conference. It has been introspecting. These are the things that we are correcting. These are the problems that we've identified. This is where we made mistakes, but this is what we want to do going forward. I think that program is going to be important because it's not a gap of tension amongst the ANC that's important at the moment. What's important is also we need to narrow the gap between the ANC and a whole lot of players out there who are part of the mass democratic movement, the society in general. So we need to reach out and talk to them on that and take the ANC into the future, building the confidence of all our people to the leadership that would have been elected here.
Mr. Mkhize, according to reports, it's a very, very tight race between Cyril Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma for
read
the position.
Before you say
Do you have any inside information for us? I'm joking. With regards to the two-man horse race between Cyril Ramaphosa and Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, is there not a fear that that will create further slate politics and opportunity for further factions within the ANC? Is there that concern?
Look, we have to put the conference behind us. Conference by nature will have its own bruises and tensions. We need to walk past the conference. That's where I think all our role, personally, I'm gearing myself to play that role. Once the conference is over, forget about the conference. The conference has been done and we are not going to revise its results. Let's accept the outcome, let's move on. That leadership is what we have. However strong, however weak, it's for us to be able to build that leadership and make it better, whatever the situation is. So going forward, it's going to be about us closing the gap. The tensions and the factions would not have started because of the conference. The conference was supposed to help us to heal, but if we're not being able to successfully do that, must remember that unity is a long-term process. It won't be just for today. The issue of correcting the weaknesses inside the ANC, the process of introspection, the process of renewal of the ANC, all of that must be taken in mind with a long-term view, and that's what we must do. And all of us must be ready to give support to the leadership as we move forward. It doesn't matter who gets elected. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter who you prefer. At the end of the day, the conference has closed that issue. It is closed for good. You must therefore not go back to talk about who you supported and what have you. You must talk about from now on, what do we do? Are we ready to support each other? Are we ready to build that unity and support the ANC? And
but does the other members of the ANC have that same mindset? Is it a collective mindset?
Generally, every member of the ANC knows that the issue of unity is sacrosanct, and therefore, even if people might misbehave, they know the truth. So I wouldn't say there's a member who doesn't believe in unity. We must just help each other if we think comrades are not able to move in that direction. But secondly, you don't give up. Even if some people are faltering, you can't give up. We have to move on because we don't have a choice. We have to unify this African National Congress. We have to strengthen it. We have to unite it. That is what we need to do. So going forward, we need to be able to ensure that our focus is to society in general and not into our issues of infighting, who didn't emerge, who was not elected, and who contested with you. That's history. It's history from now on, and when we move on, we need that leadership. After all, the ANC has got a lot of leaders. It must be accepted that any one of us could have been in that position, and whoever is there is representing us, and let's move on.
Mr. Mkhize, I know we are quickly running out of time.
I like your branding out
I'm
there,
going to try my luck, if you don't mind. Who are you supporting as the next president of the ANC?
I support the one who will be elected.
And
Fair
also,
enough.
there's another issue here that we need to clear the air on. Now, there has been reports saying that your consultation with the President Jacob Zuma and the meeting with the KZN leadership is now showing your support for NDZ. So can we just get some clarity on that situation?
Yes.
What was the situation happening there? What happened in that meeting?
No, firstly, let me put it this way. If I wanted to endorse anyone, I would have said so. I've got my own mouth. So let us leave the stories on the speculations from Twitter, because that's not such. When we stood up there, we left it for the branches to decide who they would like to vote for, and they've got a perfect right to do that. Secondly, excuse me. Secondly, when we started talking about unity, there are lots of other things that we have done other than going to visit KwaZulu-Natal that have been helpful in building the spirit of unity. We could have probably been, in a worse situation had we not started those things. You've seen what the president has done, and a lot of work and engagement behind the scenes. When we had to go to deal with the province of KwaZulu-Natal, it was part of actually entrenching the message of unity, to say to the comrades there, in the first instance, we must acknowledge that there are divisions that need to be solved. That we, both president and myself, having been the past leaders and chairs of that province, and those people who used to participate when there are serious challenges in there, were prepared to help them and support them. And that in the process, we don't want them to personalize divisions. They must realize that at this point, too many things that are going wrong, like such as the killings and the problems, need all of us, both at national and provincial, to work together, to support each other so that we can reach solutions with everyone being on one side. That's what it was all about. There was no special arrangements of anything. Comrades there have been upfront in terms of who they were supporting and what they wanted to do, and I think we must accept that that's where the situation has been. But of course, elections are an area where there's a lot of interest and speculation and spices and all sorts of things. That will always be there, but you must know the truth.
And after, let's just say after the elective conference, do you have any idea as to what is your plan is after that?
I want to serve the ANC, and if I'm elected, I will be part of the leadership, and I'll continue the work that we're doing.
Well, thank you so